Here's the scene this morning in Hong Kong's financial district. Dozens of protesters expressing their opposition to what has been going on today in Japan. Japan has started to release treated radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean. It's water from the damaged Fukushima Daiichi power plant that was, of course, terrible damage during the earthquake and tsunami. But the water has been treated and, as I say, is now being released, a step in the decommissioning of the plant. A very controversial move, and one which has tremendous economic consequences as well. As we look at these stories of protest, let's bring in Chris Gilbert, who's going to show us some of the images. There we see some of the images, and Chris is in Tokyo this morning. Tell us more about this decision. It's a fascinating story, Chris. What Japan has done, how it's cleaned up, it claims, this contaminated water, and why it's doing this now.
Well, this is not the end of the decommissioning process. This is one obstacle along the way, and it's taken 10 years of planning to get to this point. They have 10 million tons of treated water that they've put through a facility that strips it of the radionuclides it's gathered from the power plant, and it's sitting in tanks, and that space is now at 98% capacity. It has to go somewhere. But the problem is that there is one isotope called tritium, which cannot be removed from the water because it has the same properties as water. So their solution that they've come up with is to dilute it with enormous amounts of seawater and then discharge it incredibly slowly into the ocean. That is where the controversy comes in, and that is why this process is going to take 30 to 40 years to finish.
So that's what they've done, and in now to the ocean is going this treated water. This is water which is fished, which provides fish to the region, to the world, and there are safety concerns about this. What are some of the issues there, Chris?
Yeah, it is fish. It is the livelihoods of several communities along that coast, and they're the ones that are going to be most directly impacted by this. The experimental factor to this is the length of time, that 30 years it's going to take to finish this. Tritiated water has been released by many countries before, including Canada. But the concern really is that these communities don't have the trust in TEPCO, the company running the project, or the government, that this project is safe. They can't take them at their word because they have been burned before. First of all, when these reactors are placed on the coast, a coast where tsunamis have happened before. Secondly, by the way that TEPCO ran the plant to not mitigate the risks of a meltdown. And then thirdly, when both parties, the government and TEPCO, hid the extent of the meltdown when it happened from the media and the international media and from the Japanese public. It is going to affect future generations of Japanese communities in that area for 30 years. They're worried about their children and their grandchildren from here.
Chris Gilbert, thank you so much from Tokyo with us this morning.